pen, I can find you. 6'1" on the money, 9'2". You just say the word and I run through. 2 texts, no reply, that's when I knew. Yeah, circumnavigate the globe as the cash grows. Get a whack like you get the grass mowed. I'm talking slick when I'm with the big slime. Could hit your, you can never hit mine. In my DM, they electric slide. No catfishing, this is not a fish fry. Never switch sides on my dog. Catch a contact, hit your ride, go to Mars. Everybody say, how could you come about your face and say I hate the artist? You'd have never heard. I left off like a rapper's dead and bird. A verse for me is like 11 birds. Just did the math, it's like $2,000 every word. I'm on the purge, I beat the church. I killed some and I walked away from it. Then I observed just how you curved and told them that they gotta wait for it. I know you ain't hot demand. I'm balling on them like you want a man. I'm drowning all inside the like I never swam. Hey, your IG, I put something on your sonogram. I'm the man. Me at the London. If you find time, we can run one. Talk about some things we can undo. You just in the pen, I can find you. 6'1" on the money, 9'2". You just say the word and I run through. 2 texts, no reply, that's when I know.
In the club with my homies, tryna get a little VI. Keep it down on the low key. She know how it is. I saw the shorty, she was checking up on me. From the game, she was spitting in my ear. You would think that she knew me. Decided to cheat. Conversation got heavy. She had me feeling like she's ready to blow.
You're up here. We'll talk about it later. Good evening, everyone. Ooh, that was a test there. A little bit. You got to sit here. You're an important person today. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ryan Xavier. I'm the president of Ontario Basketball. Thank you all for coming out tonight to celebrate basketball in the province of Ontario and Canada. Before we get this night started, I wanted to do a quick presentation before we start the formal inductions. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a very special honoree. He's not only a friend, but a colleague, and as well a former teammate. I'll let you decide who was the better player back in the day. This year, Ontario Basketball would like to honor Dilakshan Pathmanathan, the recipient of the 2025 Ontario Coaching Excellence Award. Dilakshan has been a cornerstone of our coaching community since 2016, from leading in the Talent Identification Development Program, guiding Team Ontario's provincial squads as both assistant and head coach. His commitment to nurturing the next generation of athletes has been unwavering. Most recently, his leadership at Ontario Tech University has turned heads across the country. In just 2 seasons, he's transformed the Ridgebacks from a 1-win team into a nationally ranked top 10 contender and an OUA semifinalist, a turnaround that will be remembered for years to come. His vision, his grit, and mentorship, both on the court and off the court, make him a true game changer. It is with great pride that we honor Coach Dilakshan Pathmanathan as this year's Coach Excellence Award recipient. Dilakshan, if you could join me on stage. And now for the much-awaited 2025 Ontario Basketball Hall of Fame induction ceremony. This evening, we are thrilled to recognize the inductee of 3 remarkable Hall of Fame classes, 2020, 2022, and 2024, whose celebrations were delayed, but no less deserving. Their stories are one of excellence, resilience, and lasting legacy. A heartfelt thank you goes out to the Board of Directors at Ontario Basketball, the staff, our community partners, supporters, and of course, all of you, our guests. Ontario Basketball is the governing body for basketball in Ontario. Our sanctioning comes from Canada Basketball and the province of Ontario. Ontario Basketball would not be in a position to do what we do today without the support of its staff, community members, as well as its board. We want to take this moment as well to thank Canada Basketball for all they do in the community. As we continue to climb in the global ranks, we know selfishly Ontario is a big pillar to that. Shout out to Michael Bartlett for that one there. As my good friend Michael Bartlett would always say, there's more work to do. As we continue to build this engine and continue to grow this sport, we look forward to do it cohesively throughout this country. And now, to guide us through this evening's celebration, we are joined by none other than Savannah Hamilton. Savannah Hamilton has covered the Toronto Raptors for the past 3 seasons with Sportnet, has been working alongside with the WNBA this summer while launching her own very own podcast, Cinderella Stories. Savannah has been an unbelievable supporter of not only basketball in this province, but in this country. She also has a lot of ties to Hall of Fame and everything to do with basketball in this story. And I'll let her tell you this story. So please give it up for the wonderful Savannah Hamilton.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate the warm welcome. It is an absolute honor to be your host tonight. And I just want to always just take a moment to check in with you guys. Listen, it's the end of a work day. We just came off of a long weekend. How are you guys feeling? Yeah? Okay. I feed off of energy. Yeah, okay, I see you. We got teams that flew in competing throughout the week here. I say we got the future, we got the present, and of course we have the Trailblazers, and we are here to celebrate you guys. Truly, I'm getting chills right now because of how inspiring. I'm looking at my colleagues, my friends, and people who've inspired me personally. With that said, we have a very special evening, as Ryan said. We're recognizing 3 incredible classes. That is the class of 2020, 2022, and 2024. We're inducting a remarkable group of individuals that have shaped basketball in Ontario and beyond. Tonight is extra special for me personally, as I have the absolute pleasure to, as I said, work directly with a lot of the people who will be inducted tonight. And so I had the chance to see firsthand how they have shaped and grown the game, not just in Ontario, but across Canada, and even in some cases across the world. So one round of applause for them just right off the bat. Let's get warmed up here. Exactly. Now, for me personally, as Ryan kind of alluded to, it is actually a full circle moment for me. Just 19 years ago, I sat in the very same audience, and I got to hear my aunt's name, Carol Hamilton, called as she was inducted into the class of 2006 as a player. So yeah, it's very special. It's also special because, once again, I get to induct now my own colleagues. So without further ado, let's get into the categories that we'll be talking about tonight. All right. Before I get into this, I will say that we'll have some breaks for the teams that are competing tonight to, I guess, dismiss yourselves eventually, because get your beauty sleep, rest up. It's a fierce competition. It's nationals. You gotta be ready for that. All right, let's get into it. Media broadcasting, to honor those who have contributed to storytelling of the sport and help bring basketball into our homes and, of course, our hearts. Builders, coaches, and officials, recognizing those who have elevated the game, whether through teaching, officiating, organizing, or developing players and programs from the ground up. Industry leaders, individuals who have paved the way for basketball growth on a national and global stage, creating opportunities and expanding the sport's impact in Canada and internationally. And finally, players, whose contributions have gone far beyond the court, not only as athletes, but as role models, leaders, and ambassadors for the game. I know we got some players up here. Let me hear you guys. It took a minute there. Thank you. All right, here's how the program is going to run. Each inductee will be introduced with a short tribute, and then we'll invite them to the stage to deliver a brief acceptance speech. We have a timeline, guys, a little bit tonight, so we got to keep it a little bit brief. Listen, I'm saying that to my fellow media folk over here. I won't name names, I promise. But yeah, with that said, we'll do a quick photo and we'll mark the moment, and let's get this party started, shall we, guys? All right. Let's start with our class of 2020, our trailblazers for media and broadcasting. Daniel Gladman. All I see is a big toothy grin over there, Dan, because you know where I'm going with this. Listen, I worked with Dan for years with NBA TV Canada and also the Scarborough Shooting Stars. It's been an absolute pleasure to induct him tonight. He has spent over 2 decades behind the camera, shaping how basketball is presented and experienced across Canada. Dan Gladman was the broadcast producer for every Toronto Raptors game from 2009 to 2019, including, of course, who can forget, the unforgettable 2019 NBA Toronto Raptors championship. Yeah, I know that's right. He began his career with Raptors TV back in 2001 and became a trusted voice behind the scenes, helping elevate the quality of basketball coverage in Canada to new heights. Dan also spent 6 seasons as a panelist on NBA TV Canada's The Hangout and has been a producer for the CEBL Championship Weekend Games, Scarborough Shooting Stars webcast, and even international broadcasts at the Olympics, Pan Am Games, Olympic qualifiers, et cetera, Apple TV, let's add that one to the list. Whether he's working for CBC, FIBA, or the CEBL, Dan brings integrity, creativity, and deep respect for the game at everything he does. Please welcome one of Canada's most impactful media figures, Dan Gladman.
Thanks, Savannah. Thank you to Ryan and Ontario Basketball for including me in this and for this incredible event. In 1986, my parents dropped me off at Crescent School in North Toronto, and I didn't know anybody. I didn't really even know what I was doing there. I was 12 years old, and I just started playing basketball out on the playground at first. Eventually in the gym, and what it gave me was a sense of purpose, self-esteem, and it began a trend in my life of making friends through the game of basketball. I have to thank my parents who are here tonight, Judy and Gary, for really creating the foundation for everything I've done. In 1988, my dad took me to the Final Four in Kansas City. My mom let him take me. And that really cemented my love and passion for the game of basketball. You fast forward to 2001, NBA TV. I got a job there. I never would have dreamed I would be working in the NBA in Toronto. You know, when we grew up, we didn't have a team. So it was just an incredible opportunity, and so many people there encouraged me, supported me, helped me, maybe no more than the announcers themselves, who became some of my best friends. Rod Black, Leo Routens are like big brothers to me. Jack Armstrong, Paul Jones, who I'm in the class with this year, just incredible to be here with you guys today. Chuck Swirsky, Matt Devlin, and a couple of people who were leaders who really showed the way for me. Frank Hayward was one, and Aaron LaFontaine, who's here tonight. And then I got the opportunity to work in the CEBL, the Canadian Elite Basketball League, which has been super fun, an incredible experience being a senior type person, senior leader in that league. So in closing, I just want to say how happy I am to see the growth of basketball in Ontario and in Canada. You know, Jamal Magloire, who's here, was so kind and gave me, let me do interviews with him, like in 2001, 2002, in the early days. And as I said to him earlier, he was an inspiration because he was one of the first people who showed us what you can do as a Canadian in professional basketball. And of course, we all wanted to be a player, but being involved in the media has been incredibly rewarding. So thanks to everybody. Thanks, congratulations to the class of 2020, 22, and 24. It's such an honor to be going into the Hall of Fame. Congrats and thanks to everybody.
One more time for Dan. There you go. All right. Michael Grange. Now, kind of a bit of a story. So when I was in high school and I was just getting interested in media, I was reading a bunch of sports articles. And I didn't really pay attention to who the writers were, but I just started noticing a pattern in some of the articles I was reading. And then eventually, my brain clocked that I should probably take in who's writing these articles. And I noticed the name Michael Grange kept on appearing. And I know his writing resonated with me because it wasn't just, you know, the game, the time, the score, nothing like that, which a lot of articles can kind of be sometimes. His was poetic, and his told a story. So it's to no surprise that I get to induct my fellow colleague, a friend of mine in the industry, Michael Grange, and that's just my own sidebar. Let me get back to the script now. Michael Grange has been telling the story of Canadian basketball since the Raptors' inaugural season in 1995. A Montreal-born, Toronto-raised journalist, Michael has spent his career chronicling the rise of basketball in Canada, the players, the culture, and its evolution from a fringe sport, which I know, guys, it used to be a fringe sport for the people up there, to a national force. As a columnist and an analyst on Sportsnet, Grange covers everything from NBA to NCAA to Canada's national teams while contributing to regularly to the Sportsnet Fan 590 and Sportsnet Central. Before joining Sportsnet, he spent 16 years at the Globe and Mail covering everything from Super Bowls to Olympic Games. He has authored and co-authored 6 books, 2 of which became Canadian bestsellers, and has received numerous awards for his writing, whether it's profiling legends like Vince Carter or shining a light on today's rising stars. Michael's voice remains one of the most trusted Canadian basketball voices. Please welcome Michael Grange.
Thank you, Savannah. That was very kind. You make me feel old, but that's all right. That's what Hall of Fames are for. I too would like to shout out to Jamal Magloire. I can honestly say I never once thought I'd be going into the Hall of Fame with an NBA All-Star and an NCAA champion. I'm sure, Big Cat, you never thought you'd be going into the Hall of Fame with me. Here we are. You really never know where that orange ball will take you. So first, a huge thanks to Ryan Xavier, Claude Nemhard, and the entire board at the OBA. It's an absolute honor to be part of this incredible group, this incredible class, and it means the world to me. So thank you. I have to give a big shout out to my boss, Gary Mello at Sportsnet, and everybody there at Rogers. It takes a lot of resources to cover basketball the way we try to do it, and without their support, I wouldn't be here tonight. I get asked a lot about how you could, get into sports journalism, become a basketball writer or analyst or whatever it might be, and I always say the best start for me in my career was to have a mom who would take you to the library when she was working there and leave you in the in the aisles and where all the back issues of Sports Illustrated were, and basically leave you there until she was finished work, and then it was time to go home. I learned a lot just killing time in the library, waiting for my mom to finish work, reading all those back issues, and that's maybe where it started. So thanks a lot for being here, Mom. It's I always remember those days. And it was my older brother, Jeff, who directly introduced me to basketball. I was wearing his hand-me-down Chuck Taylors. This is back when kids wore hand-me-downs. My first day at a new school, and someone noticed them and asked if I played basketball. At the time, I didn't really, but I lied. I said, yeah, I needed a friend, so yeah, I play basketball. Turns out his older brother played at the local high school team, Humberside, that won the city championship that year. Over Oakwood, Jonesy, sorry to remind, just once, but it was over Oakwood, just remember that. And so being in those packed gyms, if anyone, I'm sure there's a lot of people in this room who remember what it was like, the Toronto high school basketball scene in the 1980s and 90s. It was electric, and just getting introduced to that early in a very kind of informal way, I was hooked for life, and that was a huge step. But Jeff, thanks for making the trip. Thanks for those shoes. It means a lot. Most importantly, I have to thank my wife, Farron Traherne. Having a thriving nights and weeknights and weekends away or on the road is only due to your efforts and sacrifices, all while managing your own career. And I couldn't be luckier to have you as a partner. Love you very much. And the way Avery and Ellis, who were kind enough also to come tonight, the way they move through the world, proves that I was lucky in making that choice every single day. But finally, I want to recognize the people who really make the sport go in this province. I get asked all the time why basketball has exploded here in Ontario, obviously across Canada. Is it the Raptors effect? Is it the Steve Nash effect? Is it the Vince Carter effect? And my answer is always, sure. All of those things had an impact. They all played a role in why Ontario in particular has become a force in this sport worldwide. But to me, and the answer I always give, is it's nothing like the impact all the parents, the coaches, the volunteers, the officials, many of whom are here tonight, and you players playing at U15 Nationals, I hope you appreciate how much time and effort these people I'm talking about put in to make your experience what it is. All of these people working tirelessly to make the game better for the next generation. It's why I've been able to tell the stories of so many incredible athletes from this province. From Big Cat to Corey Joseph, Tristan Thompson, Kia Nurse, Natalie Achonwa, Tammy Sutton-Brown, Andrew Wiggins, Rowan and RJ Barrett, the Nemhard brothers, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and our most recent NBA champion, SGA himself. That's just to name a few. It's an incredible, incredible wave of talent that have come from this province. They've made my job what it is. They were all those players and many more I mentioned, were able to make their dreams come true because of all the people who put their time and effort into this sport, often with little recognition, not often with much thanks. They made their dreams, all those players were able to make their dreams come true because of you. And I'm here because of them. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I honestly never believed I'd be considered a Hall of Famer in any stretch, so it's incredibly humbling to be here. It's incredibly exciting to be here with so many friends and colleagues, people I I've always looked up to. And all I can say is thank you. I mean it.
All right, how we feeling? We got 2 down. How you guys doing? Yeah? Okay, yeah, convince me. There we go. That's more like it. Pulse check. For this one, I think I'm at a loss for words, honestly. I think we're all familiar with the name Jack Armstrong. Exactly, yep. And as amazing as he is a broadcaster, his personality, who he is as a human being, he's 10 times even better. Like, if you get the chance to actually know him, he's an amazing, incredible human being, and one of the first people to welcome me and make me feel at home on the Raptors broadcast, despite the fact that we're on opposite networks. So with that said, few voices in Canadian sports are more iconic than Jack Armstrong's. Known for his enthusiasm, insight, and signature one-liners, Jack, I expect a hello, FYI. He has spent nearly 3 decades with Raptors basketball, bringing it into our homes and, of course, our hearts. Before joining the broadcast, Jack had a decorated collegiate career, becoming a head coach at Niagara University at just 28 years old. And over those 9 seasons he was there, he earned 100 wins, led his team to NIT, and was twice named Coach of the Year. But it's his 100% player graduation rate that he is the most proud of. And once again, that is a testament to who he is as a coach, as a broadcaster, and as a human being. Since joining the Raptors broadcast team, Jack has won multiple Canadian Screen Awards, worked NCAA and NBA games for major networks, hosted a radio show, and even released a holiday album with proceeds going to MLSE Foundation and Special Olympics. Jack, I had so much fun at your concert. That was a blast. Jack Armstrong is more than a broadcaster. He's a basketball lifer, a community builder, and a beloved figure across the sport. Please welcome Jack Armstrong.
Thank you, Savannah. Hello. There you go, okay. I'm honored and privileged to be here tonight, and I'm honored and privileged to be inducted with all you wonderful Hall of Famers. So it's dark, I can't see everybody, but the guys sitting in front with me, obviously Dan, Michael, Jonesy, all of you, you're great friends and have been incredible colleagues and just so much fun to work with. And I just want to say thank you. And I want to say thank you so much to the Ontario Basketball Hall of Fame for this incredible recognition. It's humbling, truly humbling. And to me, you know, when I look at this experience, I want to recognize some of my guests, my wife Dina, my son Tim, Hall of Famer Ron Foxcroft, Paul Bromby, John Russin, Rovin Yao, Carmen Kelly, some of my friends that were able to make it tonight. So I love each and every one of you, and thank you for coming tonight. And you know, just one quick thing. I just finished my 27th year broadcasting Raptor games, and when I was hired in 1998, after 14 years as a college coach, and before that I was a high school coach in New York, phone rings at my house. My wife Dina's downstairs, and I'm upstairs, and back then people actually had phones in their house. My wife yells upstairs, "Jack, you got a telephone call." And I go, "Who is it?" She goes, "Sports Illustrated." I'm like, "Sports Illustrated? This is amazing. I got hired by the Raptors 3 weeks ago. I got Sports Illustrated calling me at home." So I walk up to the phone, I pick up the phone, and the lady goes, "Is this Jack Armstrong?" I go, "Yes, this is Jack Armstrong." She goes, "Well, this is Sports Illustrated." I'm like, "I know it's Sports Illustrated." She goes, "Mr. Armstrong." I go, "Yes." She goes, "For $29.95, you get a year's subscription to Sports Illustrated." Peacock today, feather duster tomorrow. Never take yourself too seriously, and I don't. But I take the work seriously. I mean, I'm just Joe Bag of Donuts. I'm a caraway seed in the bakery of life. And I'm just so blessed to be here, and I feel such love and warmth and appreciation having worked here for 27 years in Toronto, in Ontario, across Canada, where people have been so kind and caring and friendly and supportive. And, you know, it's interesting. Yesterday, you don't know him, a young man, his name is Sean Fitzgerald. He's a New York City firefighter. And he texted me yesterday. He said, "Coach, congratulations. Big moment." And he said, "Sean worked in our basketball office 27 years ago when I was a coach at Niagara, and I got fired. And that night, I had made a commitment to go on a TV show in Buffalo, hosted by a guy named Paul McGuire, whose name is in the Buffalo Bills Wall of Fame. And I was going to go on and talk about the NCAA tournament for an hour. And I said, I'll be there. So Sean drove me that night, a few hours after I got fired. He goes, "How far you've come." And to me, I think back at that, and you know what? I had the privilege to speak to the young athletes earlier, and congratulations to each and every one of you. You know what? In this sport, there's a lot of failure. We all fall down. We all fail a lot, not only in sports, but in life. It's picking yourself back up, and I'm so blessed that when I got knocked down and I had the opportunity to come work in Toronto, and we had a kid named Vince Carter who was a rookie at the time, and I worked with a guy named Chuck Swirsky, and what a ride. And it's been an amazing ride for 27 years, and I'm blessed to do it every day. And my two older boys, Kevin and Brian, couldn't be here tonight. They're out of town and they're working. But again, I'm so thrilled that my son Tim could be here. I love you, buddy. I'm so proud of you. And I'm incredibly honored and privileged. I want to echo what Michael just said. My wife, Dina, she's a real Hall of Famer. She was a terrific college coach in 2 sports. She was a women's soccer coach, Division I, women's basketball assistant, Division I. She's actually in a Hall of Fame because she was a good coach. I sucked. She was a really good coach. But more importantly, she's a Hall of Famer in life. I'm so lucky, so blessed, so fortunate to have her in my life. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. And Michael mentioned it, that orange ball. I fell in love with that orange ball when I was 7 years old. And here I am 55 years after that moment. And there's so many things this game has done for me that I can't thank enough. And the single greatest thing this game has given me is my wife. We were both coaches at Niagara University together. and I would have never met her if it wasn't for basketball. I love you. And I just want to finish with this. My last thing. This was given to me when I first started off in coaching. And I had an old coach give it to me. And throughout my coaching career, throughout my broadcasting career, I've always tried to live this. Some people call it the paradoxical commandments of leadership. Other people call it anyway. I just like to finish with this for you. A little food for thought. People are unreasonable, illogical, and self-centered. Love them anyway. If you do good, people will accuse you of selfish, ulterior motives. Do good anyway. If you're successful, you win false friends and true enemies. Succeed anyway. The good you do today will be forgotten tomorrow. Do good anyway. Honesty and frankness make you vulnerable. Be honest and frank anyway. People favor underdogs, but really only root for top dogs. Pull for the underdogs anyway. What you spend years building may be destroyed overnight. Build anyway. People really need help, but may attack you if you try to help them. Help people anyway. Give the world the best you have, and you'll get kicked in the teeth. Give the world the best that you have anyway. To each and every one of you, thank you so much. I'm humbled. I'm blessed. I'm so appreciative. God bless all of you. Thank you.
Give it a couple minutes for our athletes to clear out, and then we'll be right back. friends in the media, I love you guys, but man, we know how to clear out a room, don't we? All right. All right, up next, we got Paul Jones, AKA Jonesy, someone who I personally consider a mentor, someone who's been a voice of the game for as long as I can even remember. Jonesy has been a colleague of mine directly on Raptors Today, especially when I was just starting. He showed me the ropes of Summer League, and I have just nothing but the best things to say about this man right here. Paul Jones has been with the Raptors since the very beginning. Yes, we're talking 95. Long before that, he was actually a principal, and more than that, he was a former player. He was a national team player. He played at York University. He was an all-star. Paul transitioned into coaching, and he helped lead Team Ontario to multiple medals, becoming a CIS coach at Western. He entered the broadcast world in the early 90s, covering the Olympics and World Champions, before stepping into the Raptors' first ever radio crew in 95. Since then, he's been a sideline reporter, an analyst, a longtime radio play-by-play voice, and so much more. Like I said, a mentor. Known for his intelligence, preparation, and the voice of calm authority, Paul has covered basketball at every level. He's also the co-host of the very popular show, Smith and Jones, and remains the ambassador for sport in Canada with 3 degrees. I didn't even know that, 3 degrees. Trying to outdo everybody, I see you, including a master's in sports psychology and a life dedicated to education and excellence. Paul has helped shape how we see and understand the game. Please welcome Paul Jones.
They told me I had 3 minutes. Claude, you should know better giving the mic to a Jamaican. But they threatened me 3 minutes and said they're going to have Dan Gladman in your ear saying, "Wrap it up, Jonesy." So that put the fear in me, and we're going to try to keep this short. I'd like to congratulate all my fellow inductees and thank you from the bottom of my heart to the contributions to this game. As Jack and Michael both alluded to, Jack has a love affair with the orange ball. It started for me when I was 9 years old, when Mom and Dad dropped me off, and my brother and I, at Parks and Rec on Tuesday and Thursday nights while they were working second and third jobs to keep the family together. And a guy who drove a taxi taught me how to play basketball. Fell in love with the game, and it's never going to go away. Claude, Ryan, Brianna, the members of the board, thank you for this wonderful honor and the evening that you have put on to honor all of these people that have contributed to the game. Everyone in this room, I know you're here because you love the game. And right now I'm coming from a place of gratitude. And the game of basketball is it's an inanimate object that is actually a family member. It really is. Because it's taken us places, it's given us things, it's made it difficult for us at times. And no matter what, you keep loving it. You love it through the lows, and for me, times when I can pick up the phone and call people that are here. Ron Foxcroft on the way home about an official's call, Courtney Charles about what is going on, Rovin Yao, Rovin's here to talk me off the ledge. All of my colleagues, the late night plane rides with Dan Gladman shaking me at 2 a.m. saying, "Come on, Jonesy, we've landed, get up, let's go." And then I roll over and roll to my right and elbow Jack and say, "Jack, we've landed, we're in Milwaukee." And it's a great thing, this family member. I'd love to thank all the people that have been with me on my basketball journey. People that I've interacted with, even for a short time period. The coaches, the custodians who have opened gyms, opened a training room, swept the floor. players, parents that have allowed me to have maybe a little bit of an impact on their life, to the parents that continue to pour their time and energy into their children as they fall in love with the game, to the administrators, tournament organizers, volunteer coaches, minor officials, referees at every level, thank you. To my broadcast colleagues who I've mentioned already, thank you. Yes, it started in '95 for me, and there's a guy here who's been in my ear even before Dan Gladman, named John Russin, that we've worked together. Johnny, thank you for being with me on this journey. My own coaches and people that I looked up to as mentors and coaches, some of whom are here tonight, Mike Cates and Bob Bain. Bob, I remember walking into your office as an 18-year-old saying I wanted to try out for your team. You didn't know who I was, didn't even know my name, but 4 years later, you turned me into one of the better players in the country. Thank you for your time and effort, Boehner. I've got family here, the people that really, really stand behind me. My youngest son, Michael, is here. His two older siblings, Andrew and Justine, could not be here, but they understand the other family member, too, that sometimes takes me away from them. To them, thank you very much for hanging with Dad and being able to absorb some of my enthusiasm for the game and taking it into your own sport right now. My cousin Molly and her husband Liam and their son Quinn. My cousin Molly's a real athlete in the family. She's the one that's got the Olympic medal, not me. For giving me that support and, as you always have, cuz, that quiet strength and intensity that is unwavering and unbreakable. To Susan, my partner, thank you for jumping on this moving train with me. Not sure you knew what a basketball was, but now I can't even get past an official's call without you jumping in and knowing exactly what the rule is and talking about players and all of that. So thank you very much for jumping on this moving train with me. And most of all, to my mom and dad. We lost my dad in 2019, the year that the Raptors won the championship, and it was as if Dad stuck around until everything was done. Championship was won, parade was done, and it was like he took up his glass and he said, all right, I'm done. And Mom and Dad, thank you for instilling me with that perseverance. And if any of you are Jamaicans in here, we call it perseverance, but the Jamaicans would say, don't let them leave you. Hang in there, stay with it, and it's amazing what you can get done. My mom is 98 and still inspiring me every day in that way. I'd like to recognize the people that took a chance on me. Scott Moore, Nelson Millman, John Shannon in the broadcast world, and John Bitove, and NBA Hall of Famer Isaiah Thomas, who helped me with this vision of broadcasting that I think I wanted to be involved with. Thank you to them. And my dad used to always say, love the game beyond its rewards. Didn't really understand that when I was 18 or 19 and came home after a loss and threw my bag against the wall, and he would kind of put the paper down. What happened? We lost. Can't win all of them. Love the game beyond its rewards. Didn't understand that. But you know, the older I get, the smarter my mom and dad became. Because when I was 18, they didn't know anything. But now I understand him. And this family member, loving the game, loving this family member beyond just the rewards, has given me so much. And it's a cause for reflection as I stand here humbled in front of all of you. My dad used to say all the time in Latin, and I take this to heart all the time as I climb the ladder in age. He used to say, "Quam pulchrum et vivere." What a time to be alive. And right now, for me, there's no better time to be alive. Here with everybody in this room that loves the game, all of the inductees, Ryan, Claude, Brianna, and the board, thank you for everything you've done for the game. And I wanted to talk to some of the young players. And coaches, maybe you can transfer this. Love the game, respect the game. You will learn from it, and you will take those teachings and pass them on to somebody else as we continue to make this game better and better. I love you, basketball family. Thank you.
All right, we are now going to be heading into the class of 2022. Are you guys ready for this? Yeah. To kickstart this class, we have builders, coaches, and officials, starting with Carlos Sousa. Now, there's some names that, it's okay, go ahead. There's some names that kind of come across your desk, you could say, or your phone a lot, and you know, there's just certain names and faces that keep recurring, and Carlos Sousa is definitely one for me. Even though we didn't have the pleasure of working directly together, I've heard about the impact that Carlos Sousa has had on the community. He has helped redefine what community basketball could be in the York region. Nearly 30 years ago, Carlos Sousa began his journey as a parent volunteer with MUBA, that is Markham Union Minor Basketball Association, and went on to become one of the organization's most respected and visionary leaders. At a time when basketball was often taking a back seat to hockey and soccer, Carlos championed the game and introduced creative programming and made basketball a central force for youth, coaches, and families in the region. His leadership helped build not just teams, but a movement. Through mentorship, innovations, and countless hours behind the scenes, Carlos helped establish Moomba as a model for grassroots sports. Please welcome Carlos Sousa.
That's going to be a really tough act to follow, the four previous inductees. They do this for a living, and I'm very new at this, right? Well, I'll try my best. I'd like to start thanking Xavier and Claude and the directors of the Ontario Basketball for this great nomination. I never in my dreams ever thought I'd be inducted to the Hall of Fame of Ontario Basketball. Thank you. My introduction actually into Mumba was accidental. I brought my son Michael to a practice, and after the practice, one of the assistant coaches, Jim Schmidt, pulled me aside and says, "Carlos, you work for a bank, don't you?" I said, "Yeah, I work for Bank of America." He says, "Well, we need some help. Would you be willing to help us out?" I said, "Sure, no problem." So I thought maybe they're banking, they need a new banking system or whatever. So he says, "Well, please come to the next AGM meeting, and we'd like to introduce you." I said, "Sure, not a problem." So basically, I showed up at the meeting. You know, you go through all the stuff that you go through in AMG. At the end, Jim stands up and says, "I'll nominate Carlos as president of Mumba." And the past president stands up, "I'll second the motion." So I wasn't sure what kind of trouble I was going to get myself into when the past president second nominated me for president. So after the meeting, I said, Jim, I thought you wanted some help. He says, you're right, you're helping us. So it was very challenging. I think my background as an executive with Bank of America and the management skills that I've learned working for one of the largest banks in the world was a vital point in getting Mamba on developing the right infrastructure to support the growth. And one of the first things we did basically is we put the customer first. In other words, the parents were the most important people, because without the parents, we don't have any players. And our focus was, if a parent calls, we answer the phone. We don't put an answering machine, and a week later, we call them back. And I think that was one of the biggest things we did, because people felt, oh, I call Mamba, there's somebody there on the other side of the phone answering the phone. It's great. Because parents have other plans, they got other activities they want to put their kids into, so they want an answer real quick of what Mamba's doing, what the pricing is, et cetera, et cetera. I think that was probably one of the best things we ever did. The second thing also was to attract people who had the passion for the game. Because remember, a lot of these people, they're all volunteers. They weren't paying positions, and you had to really find people who loved basketball. So basically, in my career at Bank of America, we had an old saying that the manager is a reflection of the people below him. And I was very fortunate to have some really good people working for Mamba who had the same passion and love for the game and who were willing to put the customer first. And I think that was probably one of the big success why we're probably one of the largest basketball organizations in Ontario. Okay, enough of that. I'd like also, there's two original founders here today, Jim Schmidt, who got me into this position, and Shelley Graham, who were the original founders 35 years ago, since 1986. So thank you and welcome. I also like to thank and congratulate two young individuals who basically have been with Mamba for 30 years as players, as coaches, as directors of programs, and today basically running the day-to-day operations of Mamba. My son, Michael Souza, and Basil Glazakos. Thank you. And last but not least, my wife, Anna. We've been married for 55 years. She was very patient, understanding, supportive of all the nights that I was cut up in meetings with coaches. And she was at home raising 5 kids by herself, working on weekends in tournaments and going to tournaments. And she was at home raising 5 children by herself. Without her support, I would have never been able to do what I did with Mamba. So honey, thank you. That's it.
All right, up next, we have Wally Lendicho. Now, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him personally, but I will say this, doing my research as a journalist, you've got to, dig and find out more and more information about what they did, why they're getting inducted and the legacy that they've left. And as I found myself doing my research, I was more and more moved emotionally and personally, because as a BIPOC woman myself, as a black woman and an athlete, a former athlete, I think it's so important to create safe spaces in sport. And it's something that I've actively been doing myself as I launched my first kids camp last year at my alma mater, and I'm looking to do the same in Vancouver for 60 Indigenous girls ages 10 to 17. So this is why this one landed for me personally. Yeah, thank you. It's not about me though, it's not about me, but it's about people like him that inspire people like me. Jose Wally Landicho, known lovingly as Tito Wally, was a pioneer of Filipino youth basketball in Toronto. He co-founded leagues like PhilCan and FNAHC, giving generations of youth and women a place to play and belong. Later, as a respected official, he brought warmth and wisdom to every game he worked. He was also a proud member and treasurer of the Toronto Association of Basketball Officials, where his leadership and friendship made a lasting mark. Wally believed in using basketball as a tool for community and belonging. His impact continues to ripple across the city, and accepting on behalf tonight is his family. Let's honor the legacy of Wally Landicho.
Hi, I'm Jeff, Wally's eldest son. I've got John here, my mother, Adrian is his niece, and all his grandchildren. Obviously a true honor, a true blessing for our entire family. We lost him just about a year and a half ago, and there's some officials here in this room that know this well, but I can guarantee his entire acceptance speech would go a little something like this.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to the Landicho family for that. Up next, we have John Petrashak. Now, on the way here, actually, my dad shared a little bit of a story with me because he himself, he actually was a coach in the GTA. That's my dad, Dan Hamilton. And he coached a lot against this individual, Coach Petrashak. And he told me about the ferocious teams that he built and the Empires and the winning mentality that he had. And I was just inspired and moved, just even on the drive, just listening to my dad speak about this individual when I told him who was getting inducted today. And Coach John Petruszak is remembered as one of the most successful and respected high school basketball coaches in Canadian history. From George Harvey to Runnymede Collegiate, he built a powerhouse program known for discipline, unity, and championship level play, amassing 4 OFSA gold medals, 5 silvers, and 2 bronzes over 25 years. But beyond title, Coach P, beloved by his players, he was a mentor, a father figure, and a coach who cared more about character than stats. His former athletes became leaders in all walks of life, teachers, doctors, social workers, and coaches, thanks to the values that he instilled. Though he passed away 3 years ago, his legacy lives on every day in every life that he's touched. Accepting on his behalf is his family. Let's celebrate Coach John Petruszak.
Good evening, everybody. It's so nice up here because I can't see anybody, so I'm not as nervous anymore. Thank you and congratulations to all the inductees who I've actually met and had some fun with so far. And thank you to the Ontario Basketball Association and to the board members. And we accept this award on behalf of our father, John Petruszak. I have no doubt the reason why my father became a hero to so many and what drove him to be a difference maker was because of his childhood loss. And that loss was sports. He was born at the end of the Depression, and his formative years led up to the end of World War II. His parents, hardworking immigrants, thought that sports were of no value to his future. Their thinking at the time, while the war effort dominated public life, that education was everything and playing sports was not allowed. He was punished harshly many times during his youth for sneaking out to play baseball or go to Columbus Boys Club. Now, Columbus Boys Club provided a space with various sports and social activities in Toronto at that time. This is where my dad met his difference maker, Carmen Bush. Carm, a Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame inductee, started coaching and mentoring my dad in his late teens. Carm had said that my dad, given the opportunity and under the right circumstances, had a real chance at making the major leagues. I believe that my dad's future legacy was inspired and influenced by Carm's mentorship and coaching. He was like a second father to him, and without any doubt, helped him to develop into the man he became. My father's legacy spanned over 40 years, from the mid-1960s to the early 2000s. If you attended George Harvey Secondary School in the mid to late 60s, if you attended Runnymede Collegiate from the early 70s to the late 90s, if you played or followed Ontario high school basketball during any of those decades, if you went to Haliburton Hockey Haven Boys Camp in the late 60s to early 70s, if you went to Olympia Sports Camp in the mid-70s to early 90s, or if you were affiliated with Forest Glen Girls Softball, you knew who John Petruszak was. Watching his teams play, especially Runnymede in the 1980s, was absolutely electrifying. They were events that family and friends could not wait for and would never miss. Coach P was like a second father to so many young people. If you were in his phys ed class, if you played basketball or any sports, or if he had any opportunity to interact with you, he quickly built a relationship and became a caring adult, mentor, father figure, and friend. He had strong empathy. He was there when young people needed him most, at times of crisis, at times of severe loss, when support and guidance were critical, or just when they needed someone to trust, someone who would listen without judgment, and someone who would help. My father warmly assumed that role. Far beyond the extraordinary success of his teams and individual successes of his players, he taught more than skills or strategies. He served as a role model. There were times when coach had to hold them accountable. There were times when coach had to be understanding and caring, but they always knew he loved them. I strongly believe that the championing he did for all his kids came from his ache to play sports as a young person. His loss and unfulfilled potential in his early life, the experience of wanting to play but being forbidden, and then meeting that one coach led my dad to become the exceptional coach, teacher, role model, and father that he was. He took those experiences and changed the lives of so many. You could say that his loss was our gain. Thank you from the Petrushak family who are all here tonight to celebrate John and this award. Thank you to my dad. We have countless friendships and memories thanks to your legacy. And thank you on behalf of my dad, the winningest high school basketball coach in Canadian history. Thank you.
Thank you so much to the Petrushak family for that. Up next, we have Jason Jansen. Now, we talk a lot about players and coaches and media personalities, but oftentimes I think an unsung element of sport is those in the leadership roles on the executive levels, because they're the ones that fight for funding. They're the ones that prioritize sport and safe spaces, as we talked about. So that's why our next inductee, he has worked behind the scenes to help sport organizations thrive. Jason Jansen is a longtime advisor, connector, and builder who has supported basketball across Ontario through governance, strategic planning, and risk management. He is the former executive director of Ontario Basketball Association, where he served in long progressive leadership roles over 17 years, guiding the organization through significant growth in grassroots and provincial basketball. Now, as a vice president at Gallagher Insurance, he's helped associates operate with security and professionalism, but beyond that, Jason has been a constant supporter of the game's growth from community courts to national platforms. With over 2 decades of leadership in sport and entertainment, Jason stakeholders across the province. Please welcome Jason Jansen.
Thank you, Savannah. Stoic there, pal. I appreciate it. I'm truly honored to be standing here today. For me, it's full circle. As many of you know, I've had the privilege of either attending or running the Hall of Fame every time up until now this century, which has been pretty special. So it's a full circle moment for me. So to be included in this is, like I said, really, really humbling and special. I have a lot of people to thank. I have a lot of stories to tell, but recognizing that I was once coordinating this event, I'm going to keep this brief and not have anybody turn the slow music on while I'm up here. The first, to thank, like I said, to thank people is tough for me because I have so many people to thank, but I wouldn't be up here without my family. And I want to recognize my wife, Caitlin, our oldest son, Theodore, and our youngest son, Nathaniel. It's an honor to have my parents here, Sandra and Rick, and a couple of dear friends that I've known for 30 plus years. As Savannah said, I think the one thing that we don't really recognize is the sport is run as a business from 9 to 5, but it's played in the evenings and weekends. And so I recall a number of years ago, there was a saying or slogan that Nike had started, and it was called "Basketball Never Stops." And thankfully that's the case because our sport is so beautiful and it allows so many opportunities for us to be engaged as so many different forms and so many different stakeholders. But for me, the most thankful part of all that, basketball never stopped, and Caitlin, my wife, was there through it all, and I appreciate you more than you can imagine. Thank you. Next, I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for the staff of Ontario Basketball that I had the pleasure of working with for 2 decades. There are a plethora and a countless number of names. There are people on the stage who worked for OBA, and there are people in the crowd who worked for OBA. Your tireless efforts to run events 365 every single day of the year is the reason why I'm also standing here. So thank you for all the time that you put in and you continue to do moving forward. Being an intern over 20 years ago, being able to run an event so special like NBA Hoop It Up, and then having a number of roles before becoming executive director, had a lot of people in my corner. I do want to just recognize a few people who are a part of that journey for me to be able to prepare me for the next phase of my basketball and sporting career. That would include Eileen Watt, Ken Urbach, Rob Wright, Michelle O'Keefe, and Greg Werner, to name a few. So thank you for being in my corner and giving me an opportunity to be in the starting 5. To all of you, thank you. And I'm going to combine a number of stakeholders, but we wouldn't also be here if it wasn't for the coaches, for the game officials, for the volunteers, for the parents. They're the ones who drive the sport. They're the ones who literally drive people to the sport, and they volunteer their time, again, work 9 to 5, and then get on the court in the evenings and weekends. That's what makes the sport so special, is that sector. Without them, we wouldn't be standing here. So thank you to all of them as well. And lastly, and certainly not least, I want to recognize the class of 2020, 22, and 2024, and all of those previous to us as well. It's truly an honor and a privilege and a blessing to be inducted to with all of you contributors. It's a blessing. Thank you. And for Ryan, for Claude and the board, and anybody else who was a part of the selection process, thank you for giving me this honor. I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you.
All right, now we are in our last class, 2024. Let me hear you guys. Here we are. This will be highlighting players and industry leaders, starting with Tammy Sutton Brown. Now, unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it. She does work down in the States, and I had the recent privilege of seeing her at WNBA All-Star. Personal story, Tammy actually showed up at one of my practices when I was playing for TMU, and she ran drills with us, and she was fresh off of playing in the WNBA too. So, that speaks to her character, and, I got to work a little bit with her when she was covering with the 905. Courtney, I saw you, hey. And she's just incredible on and off the court. She's one of those people who, as talented as she is on the court, she's an even better person off the court as well. So with that said, she is one of the most decorated women's basketball players to ever come out of Canada. She played 12 seasons in the WNBA, made 2 All-Star appearances, and remains the only Canadian to ever win a WNBA championship. Internationally, she represented Canada at the 2000 Olympic Games and had a standout professional career in Europe and Asia. Off the court, Tammy transitioned into leadership roles with the Raptors 905 and now works in athlete marketing at Nike. Although she couldn't be here tonight, her legacy, leadership, and impact will forever be a part of Canadian basketball history, and on her behalf, Tammy's father, Monroe Sutton Brown, will come up to accept her induction. Let's take a moment to honor the Hall of Famer, Tammy Sutton Brown.
Good evening, everyone. I do thank you for having me here. My name is Monroe Sutton Brown, and I'm just here to receive an award for my daughter, which is like kind of Footman League. I'm originally from Jamaica, right? And we have track and field, soccer, cricket. So coming to Canada, and my daughter got very interested in basketball. I had to depend on these inductees here who are very instrumental of guiding the young basketball players. So the first place to return to was Mamba. And of course, there are 2 members, one member inductee here tonight. Thank you very much. So I tried to help my daughter along the way, but when I tried to play with her, her shots would go in, but my shots, the rim kind of get a little smaller, and they always bounce and come. So, that's why I am very appreciative of all the coaches along the way, the OBA coaches, Canada basketball coaches, of course, the coaches at our university, Coach Vivian Stringer. But before we get there, coaches like Mr. George Cross, think that's his name, Ted Taylor, and of course the OBA coaches, Ontario basketball coaches. They were all instrumental of where Tommy is today. And I appreciate it more because I get to know a lot of North America, because wherever she's playing, we're there. And when she started going overseas, I said, take care of yourself. Oh, Dad, no, you got to come. So, of course, South Korea, I was there. The Olympics, I was there. Turkey, I was there. So I am come full circle around, because now she was thanking me, now I'm thanking her for all my traveling experiences. So anyways, on behalf of Tammy, she asked me to give a special thank you to Courtney Charles and all the people involved along the journey for her. Thank you very much, and I do hope whenever I hear about this again, I've got to be out here. Thank you.
I'm going to keep this personal anecdote nice, short, and sweet in this case, because some know him as Big Cat, but other people might know him as Jamal Magloire. Yeah. He won an NCAA championship with Kentucky, played 12 seasons in the NBA, including a historic run as the first Canadian to ever play for the Toronto Raptors. He continues to serve the game as a coach, a mentor, and a builder. Jamal has been an assistant coach and is currently a community ambassador with the Raptors, a senior advisor with the Scarborough Shooting Stars, and a founder of the Jamal Magloire Foundation and Toronto Revelers. Yes, Jamal, you were probably on the road last weekend. I see you. I know. Whether he's winning championships or uplifting youth through culture and sport, Jamal represents what it means to give back. Please welcome Jamal Magloire.
Thank you, guys. I'll try and keep this as short as possible. First and foremost, I want to pay homage to the OBA, the board of directors. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. I will not take this lightly. I also want to thank my fellow constituents. You guys are, what could I say? You have done it, and we're only trying to follow you guys. So thank you for laying the land. Thank you for being trailblazers. And without you guys, it'd be a very, very rocky road for us younger people. Again, I'm honored to be a part of this Ontario Basketball Hall of Fame. I grew up in Toronto, and I heard one of our other constituents talk about a 360-degree turn, and it's been like that for me as well. Grew up in the city, grew up in the ghetto. I went to Wexford for 2 years, went to Eastern Commerce the latter 2 years. Wow. I signed my letter of content on my 18th birthday. Went to Kentucky for 4 years, got drafted, in 2000, played 12 years on probably 7 or 8 different teams. And when you talk about a 360-degree turn, I was able to come back home for my 12th year and my final year in the NBA and finish where I started. So leaving at 18 and coming back home at 34 years old to be the first Canadian to play for the Toronto Raptors was always my dream. And that was very, very humbling for me. Ended up playing a year with the Raptors, ended up coaching under some very, very precision coaches in Dwayne Casey and Nick Nurse for the next 11 years. Both of them were coaches of the year in the NBA, and I've been fortunate to be on both of their staffs. So not only did I have the privilege to be an NBA All-Star in 2004 as a player, I was able to also coach in the NBA All-Star twice, representing the Toronto Raptors, both with Dwayne Casey and Nick Nurse. So I feel amazing. I feel amazing that I'm able to be here in the Hall of Fame, that the town and the city that I've always coveted. I remember being drafted in the year 2000 and hoping and wishing I got drafted 21st. You know, the Raptors had the 21st pick, and I got drafted 19, 2 spots before the Charlotte Hornets. But it ended up working out. I've had a very tumultuous career, and I think the reason why I give back so much is because through the thick and thin as a basketball player, you guys had my back. I remember there were nights that I would come to my locker, and sometimes I wouldn't even see my jersey in the locker room. And that meant I wasn't playing that night. And through all of that, I still had the support of my family and friends in Toronto. I remember there was days in New Jersey where to say the least, it was a really, really good career. Sorry to get a little emotional. It's been a very, very long weekend between having won the Band of the Year for Caribana and not getting any sleep. And coming here today, I just need to catch up, so forgive me for my emotions, but basketball has been my life. I never knew what would happen after playing. I thought that I'd be invincible and I'd be able to play basketball for a very long time, and I got a rude awakening when I got cut from the Toronto Raptors in 2012, but I think they saw something that I didn't even see in myself, and being a leader and being a coach, and ended up extending my career another 12 to 15 years after that. So to be coming from Flemington Park and working in the NBA now for the last 25 years, I am very, very humbled and honored to be in front of you guys. And I hope that we have paved the way for the future. Back in the day, in the year 2000, there were 3 players in the NBA. There was myself, there was Steve Nash, and Todd McCullough. Now this year we have over 20. So I hope we contributed to the evolution of what you guys see today. And I wish nothing but the best for the future moving forward. I'd like to thank Claude and his son for all that they're doing and putting us on the map. And we're going to continue to push. I feel like there's no stopping us between the NBA, the CEBL, the Raptors 905, the Toronto Tempo coming to town. We just have a lot of opportunities that we didn't have back in the day, and I just hope that these guys and these kids use it to their fullest, because there's a lot of money to be made, and we just want to see nothing better for them. So with that being said, I'm sorry again. Again, basketball is all I know. I put all my eggs in one basket, and I hope for the best. You know, right, wrong, or indifferent, basketball was what I wanted to do, and I was not taking no for an answer. So if you have young people out there nowadays that aspire to do this, you make sure that they don't take no for an answer. And when they come up with things like McGlure can't score, you use that as motivation, and you keep pushing, and the sky's the limit. So thank you, guys. I'm speechless. I'm humbled. Again, if I missed anybody in this announcement, I apologize. But like I said, basketball means more to me and has opened so many doors for me and my family and my friends that it takes tears to express the humility in what this has done for me and my family. So thank you, guys, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Big Cat. Well, guys, we got one more ball and one more ring left on the table here. And this person has especially inspired me. I was able to interview her multiple times throughout my career. And every single time I'm just blown away by the work that she does, once again, in the leadership realm, in the executive offices, in ushering and championing change. Change as in bringing women's basketball to Canada. She was a front runner in just ushering in the new era of getting the WNBA to play a preseason game in Toronto as well as in Edmonton. I'm talking about Leah McNabb. Leah has been one of the most influential executives in Canadian basketball. As a managing director of NBA Canada, she's led major media partnerships, licensing deals, and youth development initiatives, helping grow revenue and fandom in this country. She also spearheaded the landmark events such as the first WNBA games in Canada, which drew nearly 20,000 fans to Scotiabank Arena. Today, she serves as the head of international strategy and operations for the NBA, working to expand the game globally through leagues like the Basketball Africa League. Leah is a board member with Canada Basketball and a passionate advocate for gender equity in her sport. Her work is changing the face and future of basketball. Please welcome Leah McNabb.
Ontario Basketball Association. Thank you guys very much. Thank you to the board and the selection committee. This is an incredible recognition. I have to say, at 5'5" with 0 on-court talent, I really never thought I would get inducted into a Basketball Hall of Fame. So it was both a surprise, but I am deeply, deeply honored to be inducted alongside this esteemed class that are here. I count many of you as friends. And you know, one of my greatest inspirations in Tammy Sutton Brown as well. So it's a real, real honor to be inducted alongside all of you. I love basketball. I always have. It has taken me literally around the world in this new job that I have, doing meaningful work and work that I love. I really want to thank my colleagues at the NBA, especially those in Toronto. I know you heard many of them just cheer just now. That was them. They're very loud. as well as the staff and board of Canada Basketball for your mentorship, your partnership, and your shared commitment to growing the game. I really and truly believe there's room in this sport for everyone, and it's incredible to get to work alongside all of you. I want to thank my family. I have several family and a few friends here tonight. Thank you so much for being here, for putting up with my continuous travels around the world. And I want to note that every time I see Canadians take the court, I'm filled with pride. You know, whether it's my son's house league games on Saturdays to, you know, our provincial teams, and it was such a thrill to see so many of them here earlier tonight, to Team Canada, to, you know, the Scarborough Shooting Stars or the Toronto Raptors, and I am beyond excited to see the Toronto Tempo start to play in 2026. It's a huge chance for all of us to continue to champion women at the professional level here at home. And I really do believe we should celebrate all of our local talent. At the NBA, we have this campaign we've been running for several years. We called it the Represent Campaign, and it features every single Canadian that's playing in the league today. And I think that, you know, the more opportunities we provide, the more players we're going to see. And, you know, to Jamal's story, we're going to see the next Tammy on the Tempo one day, and that's going to be an incredible moment. I've been very fortunate to witness the power of basketball that it has to bring people together. I have, from Haida Gwaii in BC to Halifax, I've watched children discover, you know, renovated basketball courts with glee, pride, and the confidence that comes when they know that they're being valued. And, you know, no one becomes a professional without first starting in a community club. I want to really extend my sincere thanks and appreciation to every sport administrator, every parent volunteer, every coach, every official for making it possible for youth to learn this game and excel at it. The future of basketball here in Canada is so bright it's almost blinding, and I can't wait to see how far we can take this game over the next 20 years. So thank you sincerely for this incredible honor. I will treasure it for always, and I hope you all have a good night.
Thank you so much, Leah. All right, guys, we're almost there. Just before we wrap up the night, I'm going to hand over the mic back to Ryan. Come over here. There you go. Welcome, Ryan, guys.
So full transparency, I had a speech and everything written out. It's on my laptop. I didn't get it printed, but I told my staff I do my best work freestyle, so you guys can let me know after. I'm gonna get through this, but there's a lot of thank yous today, a lot of folks that shouted out a lot of people, and I just wanted to make a real point. You know, I get to stand up here, the light's on me, everyone's thanking me, but if it wasn't for the Ontario basketball staff, the board, and their support to get this done, we wouldn't be here today. And I wanted to, Brianna, can you come up here? Rose, Makai, you're in the back there, Haspreet, come up. Ethan's doing so he can't come, but just come up. Makai, Haspreet. Again, I get to stand before you with the mic and, you know, get to take some of the credit. Deepin, my bad, Deepin, let's go, jump up. Deepin as well. If it wasn't for these young folks, honestly, we could not put on this show. Just for every other sport exec in the room tonight, they have no trade clauses, so they cannot leave Ontario basketball. So they are with us, but again, the A-team here that make me look good and get to stand in front of you. So again, thank you guys for your work and hard work. All right, you guys are good. Thanks. And again, I just want to thank Dan Gladman. Growing up, you know, every time I'd heard Jack say, hey, run it back, and we got to see that special moment again, that resonated with me and stuck with me throughout the years. So I've always, you know, got the opportunity. You were one of the first names that came up in my head. Luckily, we got to work together, the Scarborough Shooting Stars and the CUBL, so got to know you a little personally. Michael Grange, I've read, I'm going to date myself a little bit for the younger folk in the room, but old school newspaper on my way to Durham College when I came here. And I ironically didn't get into the sport management program, but I'm teaching it now. I would read your, I'd read your paper. I'd be the guy that take out the sports section from the rest of the paper and leave nothing for the next guy. But I would read, you know, all your stuff and keep up with the times. Jonesy, you and I have gotten close over the last couple of years, thanks to Claude Nemhard. For everyone in the room, when I had the first opportunity to hire a senior exec, I you know, did a search and worked with the board, and then it was like, how do we tell the story? How do we let everybody know? And you know, Claude goes, oh, I know Paul Jones. I was like, okay, let's see what that looks like. And then Jonesy helped tell the story and put it out there, and you know, did so many great things, and you know, we got close over the last few years as well, Jonesy. So I appreciate that. Carlos Souza, you and Courtney Charles can flip a coin to say who gave me the first sport job, and you know, where I am today. So appreciate that. You guys have always been great. Mumba, I get emotional talking about it, but I see Michael and Matt, you guys are in the stands. Thank you so much for everything you've done. Tito Wally, I know you're not here. Your sons, Jeff and John, we've gone close over the years. Your daughter-in-law and I went to high school together, so that's family forever. You know, back in high school, you were the first ref to really give me perspective. I went up for a layup. I thought I got fouled, or I'm 100% sure I got fouled. He missed the call, and I said, hey, what the hell, you missed the call. He goes, you're probably right, I'll get the next one. And that just gave me like a different lens of like, officials are humans too, and they can make mistakes, and we just kept playing. So he coached me throughout the years of my playing, and again, truly appreciative for that. John Petruszak, I didn't get a chance to know you, but I knew your history. As a young student in the game, I've always heard the stories of Eastern Commerce, Running Meat, and all that. I never thought decades later I'd be an inspiration to your son-in-law who's here today, and every day, you know, I'm so happy I get to inspire you. That's a bit of a joke. I'm not really an inspiration to him, but he's somewhere sitting in here. Jason Jansen, nothing but love, brother. You gave me the first job at OBA when Mike Barbin, who's sitting here, did not give me the job. So very appreciative for you hiring me years later. Look at us now, right? So thank you. You've always been, you know, calm, cool, and collective in your approach in the basketball community. Had a ton of respect for you coming up. You know, you were always consistent with your approach across the entire province when we were as divided as we could be. You were the one person that, you know, never was in one person's camp, and you tried to bring everybody together. So it's love, JJ. Tammy Sutton Brown, I know you're not here. I know you and Courtney grew up together. I grew up playing on your basketball court, so, you know, when Courtney and I talked, it only made sense that, you know, you were here today. Obviously, your accomplishments and everything you've done have been great. Big Cat, Jamal McGlure, you know what it is, brother. It's love. You've always done great things in the community. Heard about you, watched you growing up. We got an opportunity to work together now, especially with the Shooting Stars and at OBA. So again, appreciate everything you do for the community in basketball. Leah, my family would tell you I'm a bit of a nerd. All I do, I don't really scroll Instagram. I literally do research on other senior executives. So I followed your story. I've seen everything you've done. It was a no-brainer when the opportunity came to put you in. I know you were surprised yourself, but truth be told, you're one of the leaders in this sport and this country in basketball, not just in basketball, but in sport. So congratulations to the class of 2020, 2022, and 2024. Thank you for everything you've done and paving the way. Okay, getting to the last part of, and as we wrap up the Ontario Basketball Hall of Fame, I wanted to get into the next part here, which is a very interesting. I don't even know how to refer to it, but how it all came together. We had an opportunity. For a good friend of mine had reached out. Minister Vijay Thanigasalam, Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions, MPP for Scarborough Rouge Park, is here today, and he had reached out to me about an opportunity for Claude Nemhard. And so, before I bring VJ up, I just wanted to take a quick moment and say, you know, Claude, everything you've done for basketball, the community, and myself, it's nothing but love, brother. Always done it. I've, you know, actually someone had mentioned Shea. It's love for Shea, but just know we got Andrew Nemhard and Ryan Nemhard in the building today. Those are the guys here today. You know, we followed your story. Claude's always talked so highly of you guys. I feel like I've watched you growing up. I have no idea how the hell you guys dress. It doesn't make sense to me, but, you know, it's love. Mary, Claude's wife, thank you for being here today, too. I'm going to come off the mic now, and I would like to introduce again Minister VJ Thanigasalam, Associate Minister of Mental Health, Addictions for MVP Scarborough.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, congratulations to the inductees. It's great to celebrate the basketball legends here in this province, in Ontario, and in Canada. But today, I'm here to celebrate an individual like Ryan mentioned. I represent Scarborough as a member of provincial parliament and serve as Ontario's Associate Minister of Mental Health and Addictions. And in recognition of an individual, we as elected officials get to select very, very few individuals here in the province to celebrate them and especially to recognize them with a high honor for community leaders, not just in Canada, but across the Commonwealth nations. And these individuals are nominated, and it was my privilege and distinct honor to nominate this individual for the enormous contribution, not just in the field of basketball or in the court, but for instilling a good character, instilling our next generation with traits and characters that will take them to many places. And that's why I'm very, very honored to stand here and announce that on behalf of Ontario government, we have nominated Mr. Claude Nemhard to receive the King Charles III Coronation Medal for this year. As you all know, Claude served at so many positions, whether starting as a financial advisor, professor, basketball coach, to countless young folks in Scarborough, in Toronto, across the nation, gone into so many schools to inspire next generation to become a better humans. Not just the basketball skills, but talk about the life skills. And he's a role model. And best exemplified in the success of his two sons, Andrew and Ryan Nemhard, who are succeeding at a very highest level of this sport. I'm personally proud to call him a colleague, a friend. And having said that, I'm proud to call up Claude and his family to please come up to receive the King Charles III Coronation Medal. Congratulations, Claude.
speak tonight, but thank you very, very much. I want to thank my staff. They are outstanding. I'm just a coach, and these are my players, and they're really, really good. Blessed to have them. This is a great event. A couple of years overdue, but I'm very glad to have this and started the process again. I'm very happy my family was here. They surprised me being here. We're seldom together. We've been together a lot the past couple of months, and I'm very blessed to have Andrew and Ryan and Mary here. The only person missing is my Oakley, but it's all good. I'll see him soon. It's almost 10 o'clock. Usually I'm getting ready to go to bed. But guys, thank you very much. Very honored and humbled to receive this award. There's a lot of people in this room that I've known for a very long time. It's funny because I first started coaching at Mumba with Mr. Schmidt and Shelley Graham and Winston Critchlow, so it's nice to be here with you guys, with a lot of people in the rooms I love. I heard a lot of things tonight. Basketball is my love. To be in this role is a blessing. To have my two boys, my wife here, and it's just a blessing, and the success we've had over this past couple of years is an honor and a testament to their hard work. I just kind of helped them out a little bit, but it's all good. I'm going to drop the mic and let everyone get home. Thank you very much. Travel safe home, and appreciate you guys. God bless. Oh, sorry. Ryan Xavier is a rock star. Good night.
Okay, and as Claude said, we're wrapping up the night. So again, I want to thank everybody. If we can give it a round of applause for the lovely Savannah Hamilton. I just want to be like crystal clear. Savannah was our first choice. For some reason, Claude told her we were in a pinch and we needed her. She was our first choice and the only choice and our only option. Just want to be crystal clear about that. But again, thank you, Savannah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Canada Basketball, Ontario Basketball, and our inductees. Inductees, we're going to do class-by-class photos on the stage. So if you guys can just hang around. Thank you, everyone.